ancient alchemists studied a wide variety of substances, trying to find a way to turn lead into gold. Did they know that there was a power hidden in the atom that was much more powerful than gold? Compared to that power, gold, even if it is expensive, is at best just a metal. Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about the power hidden in the atom. The content of the film will mention how this power led to the emergence and evolution of powerful weapons, which are more brutal than anything invented by humans. This is the Global Feels channel. Let's watch the film together. The first nuclear bomb. In 1938, German physicists Otto Hahn and Friedrich Strassmann tried to find superatomic elements in the atom by bombarding the atom with neutrons. This element has a short half-life and is very unstable. From this experiment, the researchers concluded that when bombarded with neutrons, the atom will break and split into lighter elements. Because of this, they discovered the nuclear fission process that can release a lot of energy. After that, Germany officially launched a nuclear weapons development program, which is the Atom Program. Around the same time, the so-called Tour Committee began to operate in the United States, and 3 years later it developed into the famous Manhattan Project. The members who worked on the development of the world's first atomic bomb were all quite famous people, such as Niels Bohr, Enrique Femicrid Feynman, and John von Neumann, including of course Cillian Murphy. No, it should be Robert Oppenheimer. I believe everyone has heard of this person to some extent. A related movie was released a while ago. The result of this development was the world's first nuclear test, the Trinity test, and the detonation of the wave atomic bomb gadget. On July 16, 1945, a flaming mushroom cloud with a height of 12 kilometers rose above the Alamogordo test site, and the light could be seen 290 kilometers away from the center of the explosion. As for what would happen after the detonation of the world's first wave atomic bomb, even scientists could not predict it, and even the estimated value of the explosion was not quite correct. Mikhail Hemer speculated that the explosion force at that time was 300 tons of TNT, but the actual value recorded on the instrument was far more than the prediction of 21,000 tons of TNT. The explosion illuminated the nearby mountains so brightly that it was like daytime. A nuclear crater with a diameter of about 80 meters was formed at the explosion site. The sand within a radius of 300 meters was melted due to the extremely high temperature, forming a slightly radioactive glass crystal called Trinitite. When the flames spread to the sky, some people watching jumped and laughed happily, while others stood there blankly, shocked by the scene before them. Oppenheimer said that the world would never be the same again, and he was right. The first underwater explosion. When World War II was about to end, the United States was the only country with nuclear weapons. In addition to wave bombs, they already had swimming atomic bombs. This bomb is simpler in composition, but the effect is slightly worse. In 1946, the world's first continuous nuclear test was carried out, codenamed Operation Crossroads. In the first able test, the U.S. military dropped the 23,000-ton bomb Gilda, decorated with a portrait of Hollywood actress Rita Hayworth, onto a gathering of several ships in front of reporters from all over the world. The beautiful bomb immediately sank 2 ships, and then 3 more ships sank one after another. The second experiment of Operation Crossroads was the Baker experiment, the world's first underwater experiment. The atomic bomb was detonated at a depth of 27 meters, and the scene of this explosion was very different from any explosion people had seen before. What rose into the air was not a mushroom cloud of fire, but a ball of water and steam, which turned into a cauliflower-shaped cloud of water mist. It was really a breathtaking and spectacular sight. The first mass-produced nuclear bomb. The bomb used by the United States in early nuclear tests was the Mark III, but this bomb was basically assembled by hand, and each component was assembled manually under strictly controlled conditions. Of course, this operation can only be done by highly skilled professionals. Therefore, in order to speed up production, The next step of evolution was to develop a practical mass-produced bomb. Such a bomb is the Mark IV, which is relatively simple to manufacture and easy to use in actual combat. The Mark IV was deployed in the United States in 1949, and a total of about 550 nuclear bombs were produced, with yields ranging from 1,000 tons to 30,000 kilotons. The Soviet Union's first nuclear violence. Although the United States believed that it could dominate the world for a while as a hegemonic country with nuclear weapons, the Soviet Union had actually established a so-called nuclear spy network during the Manhattan Project, which could collect valuable information about nuclear tests from the United States. As a result, what the Soviet Union did next surprised the United States. On August 29, 1949, 4 years after the Trinity test, the Soviet Union detonated its first nuclear bomb, RDS-1, with an equivalent of 20,000 tons. Although the Soviet Union had not yet figured out how to carry nuclear bombs, this incident triggered a subsequent arms race and eventually led to the birth of new nuclear weapons. Operation Greenhouse. The ultimate goal of nuclear development has always been to reduce the mass of nuclear bombs and the amount of fissile material, while also maximizing destructive power. Therefore, the United States began to test a new type of bomb, and the most important step in this process was Operation Greenhouse. In 1951, during this operation, a total of 4 tests were conducted at Cape Inuitak in the Pacific Ocean. On May 8th, the bomb George was tested. The bomb had a nuclear yield of 225,000 tons and became the prototype of the thermonuclear weapon that appeared a year later. The bomb used a small amount of heavy neutrons from liquid hydrogen. Kawamoto scientists originally expected that this would be a powerful source of fast neutrons that could be used on fission oil, but in the end, it did not trigger the mechanism of nuclear fusion and the power was not significant. Therefore, rather than being a thermonuclear weapon, this test is considered to be the first nuclear explosion project of a cast-type nuclear bomb and the first laboratory to use multiple blunt explosions. Although the explosive yield was only 45,500 tons, its power was twice that of a similar flat oil bomb. Britain's first atomic bomb. Britain made great contributions to the advancement of the Manhattan Project, but it was not until December 3, 1952, during Operation Hurricane, that they got their first atomic bomb. Because of this, Britain became the 3rd country to possess nuclear weapons. The bomb had a power of 25,000 kilotons and was the first hydrogen bomb ever detonated on the island of Trinity in Western Australia. After laying the foundation for nuclear bombs with Operation Greenhouse, the United States returned to Inuitak a year later, on November 1, 1952, and tested a truly giant bomb, the monster Ivy Mike. The first hydrogen bomb. In fact, this was not the bomb we imagined. To be more precise, it was actually an experimental device, weighing about 74 tons and equipped with a special cryogenic device. After the explosion of this huge bomb, Elyage Island disappeared without a trace, literally evaporated from the face of the Earth. Ivy Mike has an equivalent of 10 million tons, far exceeding the limits of previous nuclear bombs. This result was achieved thanks to a new structure. This structure supplements the fission process with a nuclear fusion process. For comparison, let's take another example. In the same Ivy League operation, the United States detonated the most powerful single-stage bomb at the time, the King. But this bomb had a nuclear equivalent of 500,000 tons, which was only 1/20th of the power of Ivy Mike. Thermonuclear weapons became the mainstream of bomb shooting. In 1953, the Soviet Union detonated the first thermonuclear bomb, RDS-6, which was a single-stage bomb with an equivalent of only 400,000 tons. In theory, the equivalent of such a bomb is less than 1 million tons, so something else is needed. On March 1, 1954, the United States conducted the Bravo test of Operation Castle at Bikini Ring, detonating a 2-stage thermonuclear bomb. This bomb used solid sword force instead of liquid kawa and sword, and its power shocked everyone present. The nuclear equivalent was 15 million tons, which was 2.5 times higher than the power calculated beforehand, and it became the most powerful test in the history of the United States. However, the world's strongest nuclear explosion was the explosion caused by the Tsar bomb dropped by the Soviet Union from an airplane in 1961. The huge thermonuclear bomb had a power of 58.6 megatons, and the flash of the explosion could be seen 1,000 kilometers from the center of the explosion. The first bomb in space, the tiny Starfish 1, had a power of only 1.44 megatons, which was nothing compared to the Tsar Bomba. However, this bomb was the first nuclear bomb to be detonated at an altitude of 400 kilometers, that is, outside the Earth's atmosphere, which represented a new step in the development of nuclear bombs. This test was conducted by the United States in 1961, but the power generated by the explosion was so great that electronic equipment and streetlights malfunctioned 1,500 kilometers from the center of the explosion, and one-third of low-orbit satellites in space were non-functional. Do you think it would be better to stop such experiments? But even if we prepare a lot of new and interesting content for you, YouTube may disappear in a moment. If you like today's content, please give us a like and share it on social networking sites with your friends and family so that you can look forward to the next video together.